So we have all fresh from the celebration of Aradhana festival, which took place a couple of days ago. It was a day we celebrated or commemorated Swami returning to his natural state, casting off his body in 2011. The ideal way for us to celebrate Swami's avatar among us is to benefit from that by learning what he came to teach us. So, study circle of Swami's words may be the best way for us to celebrate Swami's avatar among us. And that's the way we would have benefited from Swami's presence amongst us. So so it will be a celebration of Saradhana today for all of us to read Swami's words and learn from it. I would like to say a few things because I have received a few feedback from various participants about the study circle. So I thought I will just go over a couple of points. I hope you will bear with me. I think there were some concerns that we are talking too much about the disease, which is not a positive thing, and we should not dwell on it too long. Was few people's view. What I feel is we should not take a disease itself as a negative situation. Everything is an opportunity for all of us to learn something. And Swami's words are the medicine for any disease which we have. Swami calls our entire life bhavaroga, or disease of existence itself. And he says it's filled with all kinds of diseases. So all what Swami has taught is to overcome all those diseases. We should be happy that we have the solution in terms of Swami's teachings. So we will patiently go through what we have already selected to study, because once we embark on a journey to learn something, we should not give up, and we should have the hope and confidence that by learning what Swami has come to teach us, we will benefit in many different ways. On top of that, I just also wanted to point out that when we have the study circle, especially when we go into discussion, we all have various thoughts. The mind tends to link various topics which comes to our mind, comes to our memory. But I think to a great extent, if we can confine ourselves to the words which we are reading of Swami and try to understand it, and that will be great. If that's one, Swami would say ekagrata, just focusing on the subject matter in front of us. That is Swami's words. Each of Swami's words is like a mantra. Each word can teach us a lot. And so I think if we can focus on the passage in front of us and only share what we can learn from that, that will be ideal. And the third point which I want to highlight was, sometimes we have a tendency to, say, others are not doing this, the others should learn. But ideally, we all should come here to learn for ourselves so that we can improve. So I think if we can look at the subject matter in terms of what can I learn from it today, and what do I understand? If I don't understand, how can I understand what Swami is trying to say with an open mind? Because all of us have our own preconceived notions. We have filled our head with various information from the past associations and learnings and lessons. Sometimes when we go to a guru like Swami, we have to empty ourselves from all our prejudices, preconceived notions, and be willing to learn from it. And so we will try to understand what Swami is telling and how can we learn from it and put it into practice. I think that because some of these, if we can all follow, we can go through the material more efficiently and also in a productive manner, so that we don't miss the opportunity of learning what Swami is trying to say. So those are some of the points. I hope I didn't take too much of your time. We can get going with the study circle. I will just try to summarize what we discussed last week. I think Swami spoke about many things, but the last point which he left with us was the fact that there are so many things which goes through in our body every day, like the number of breaths which we take, the amount of blood which circulates, and so on. The reality is our body itself exists, and we are able to function, and I'm able to talk because of God, the energy of God which mobilizes us. So I think Swami wants us to look to God as the source of all of the solutions, and not to depend on others who themselves are in the same situation as us, like a physical doctor, a human doctor. So I think Swami is pointing that out, because some of our worries and fears are because we don't rely on him. So with those, I think we will go on to the next slide of Swami's words. And I don't know if Sister Kalyani is able to read. She was having some problems with the microphone. Sister Kalyani, are you able to read? Sairam, Sister Kalyani. Go ahead.
God is the preceptor of Prakriti, nature. The body is unclean in many ways and is subject to various diseases. But in such an inherently unattractive abode dwells the most valuable divinity. Man should always act in harmony with nature, which is reflection of divinity.
Thank you very much, Sister. Thank you very much. The forum is open for anyone to go through these words of Swami and share what strikes you, what pulls a chord in your heart. I will open it up for anyone to say something. If no one is saying so, I will start off. When I read this, Swami is saying, in an inherently unattractive abode dwells the most valuable divinity. I'm immediately reminded of the word lotus, which in most of our bhajans we sing as something called pankaja, which is born from in an environment which is not necessarily clean or attractive. But this lotus blossoms in the panka, or dirt or mud, and it blossoms into the most beautiful thing by looking at the sun. The sun makes it blossom. So there is some harmony between that lotus which grows from the nature and the divinity which is reflected in the sun. And from that has been a phenomenon which has inspired many, many great devotees as an example of how we should look to God, even in an unclean, unattractive surrounding. By just focusing on the divine, we will be in nature, harmony with nature and divinity, and it reflect the divinity. So I always find that an attractive thing, and that I was reminded of that example which came to my mind. Anyone else would like to share something, please? How do we live in harmony with nature and reflect divinity? Sairam.
Hi Ram, this is Surya Kumar. If I can add,
Sairam, brother.
Most of the elements in the nature, it also in our body. For example, water. 75% of the universe, water is in the body too. They are perfectly planets and everything in the earth are perfectly placed so that the temperature and pressure, everything is perfectly okay with the atmosphere. Similar to the human body, all the organs are functioning in harmony so that the temperature, pressure, salt level, everything is perfectly functioning, body to function. Also, Swami said, nature is the best teacher. So we must all practice. Nature is, is in harmony or in peace. Mother Earth is peaceful. Sun God gives us the light without failure every day, without any selfless service. Sun is the best example for service. It doesn't complain. It does come every day for millions of years. Likewise, we should do our selfless service. So I thought I should add this. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you very much, Brother Saira. Anyone else would like to say something, please? I guess if no one is having something to add, we will proceed to the next paragraph, please. Sairam, Sister Kalyani, you can do the honors.
What is the cause of heart ailments? Many doctors say that they are due to smoking, consumption of fatty foods, overeating, and other habits. The relationship between food and habits should be properly understood. We should see that proper balance is maintained between the physical body and inner feelings, spirit. Modern man is continuously in a hurry. Hurry causes worry, which affects the physical health. The main cause of heart troubles may be said to be hurry, worry, and curry. Curry means fatty foods. Many doctors have made investigations in this field, but the results have not been made known widely.
Sairam, everyone. I think Swami is going on to talk about what exactly is harmony, I guess, in this, and identifying a few points. So I will open up the forum to share, any participant to share their thoughts. What can we learn and what should we learn from this? And how can we improve ourselves to be a bit more in balance? Saira.
Ram, this is Bhavani. I would just like to share some comments on the previous paragraph, if it's okay. I'm reminded of
Yes,
something
sister.
that, thank you. I'm reminded of something that appears in Sri Sai Centres, where I think Baba's words, something like, maybe some of y'all may recollect, where I think he's saying words like, I am the slave of slaves, I am your debtor, and then I am satisfied with your darshan. And then he says, finishes off by saying, I'm an insect in your excreta and I consider myself blessed. So, and like we are saying, on one side we are saying our body is, inside has all this dirt and filth, and then the most precious thing, entity, God lives in us, and on the other side, God himself, as Shuddhi Baba, put himself down, he was so humble in saying that I am this. I just wanted to share that.
Thank you, sister. Anyone else would like to share something, please?
Hello.
Yes, please.
Hi, Sairam.
Sairam.
Yeah, how are you? Okay, about the heart problem. What I wanted to say that for our heart, we have to watch what we are eating and what we are drinking too. And the other thing is that our heart problem, I think we should do lots of exercise too in order to just keep our heart healthy. And the other thing, water and liquid juice, not alcohol and stuff, which damage our heart. So that's the reason I think we should be careful of what we're eating, what we're drinking, and how much exercises we do. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, sister. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else would like to add, please?
Hi Ram. So when we look at Shirdi Baba's picture, it's on left side is faith and on the right side is patience. I think it's, if I don't know I'm right, it's a Saburi and correct me if I'm wrong, Sanskrit.
Shraddha.
Shraddha.
Shraddha and Sabur.
Shraddha and Saburi, yes. So I think the opposite of hurry is being either calm or patience. So if you have good faith in God, patience is a virtue that we need to practice. And that comes with firm faith in God.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Sir.
Hi Ram, this is Vasudha here.
Sairam, sister.
So I think what Swami is trying to do here is just simplify it and give a little mnemonic to remember easily: hurry, worry, and curry. But basically, what it means is not just like what we learned in the previous study circle. It's not just the physical attributes, but also your mental, emotional attributes. So, for example, he says non-vegetarians tend to have more heart disease, and maybe the fat in it has more cholesterol. You can be a vegetarian, and from the physical attributes, you could be eating a lot of coconut chutney with your idli, and coconut has high levels of cholesterol, for example. But it's not so much whether you're vegetarian, non-vegetarian. It's also your thoughts, your feelings. The physical attributes like alcohol, smoking, all of these will impact the heart, but your thoughts, if you have, like previously, I think somebody alluded to it, jealousy and greed and all the other negative feelings that come, they also impact your mind, and through your mind they impact your heart. It causes you stress because you're jealous or you're greedy, you're not able to fulfill your worldly desires. So all of that also contributes to this, in keeping with the theme of aligning your mind, body, spirit. I think it's that also has an impact on the heart ailments. Sairam.
Thank you very much, sister. Thank you. Sairam, anyone else, please?
Sairam, Sister Ambika speaking. The God give us the body, God give us the beautifully for ours to live. We should look after our body. That is the first duty we have to do. When we do that, I think God will be happy. But we are not listening to the body first. When we get anger, is causing trouble to the heart, and the anger creating the acid and everything, and all the emotions also are getting in our body. We are getting the I am telling like the food or other thing. More than that, the emotions also attacking our body, and we should look at that also. And Baba saying hari bori curry, that part, I think when we make curries, we all know we put lots of spices and lots of oil, things like that. Baba says everything has to be moderate. And also when you cook the food and eat, you have to eat half the, the stomach, you shouldn't full eating like the half of the food and the empty, the water and the air like that. You shouldn't eat always full stomach like that. That is also cause of trouble like that. That's what I believe. Sairam.
Thank you very much, sister. Thank you. Anyone else would like to comment or say?
This is Bhavani. So I'm actually more Sister Vasudha. I'm looking at a talk that Swami gave in Sanatana Saradi, November 2018, and he gave that in September 1981. And this paragraph says, coconut, young coconut water, sprouted grams, uncooked or slightly steamed vegetables, greens and fruits are very good for the body. So, and Swami says anything offered to the gods is very auspicious, and I know in the Eastern tradition we do offer coconuts to our gods. So, but on the other hand, we should be eating coconut chutney daily. So moderation, I think, is the key. Thank you.
Thank you, sister.
Sairam, yes, sister, I agree with what you said about moderation. Another interesting thing is cardiologists have shown that having a little bit of wine every day is actually protective for the heart. And there are cardiologists of Indian origin here in Canada who will offer you some wine if you go to their house and they say, you know, how this many ounce of wine is protective to your heart. In the church, they do offer wine when they do things like baptism, and Jesus Christ's last meal involved bread and wine. What is wine? Wine is just fermented old grape juice. But it's not really literally taking these. It's like you said, it's the moderation. If you have too much of wine and alcohol, the same thing, instead of being protective, then becomes you know, antagonistic to the heart. So, like earlier, last week we learned that ghee and honey and gingerly oil are some of the substrates for the Ayurvedic medication. But again, ghee is fat, right? And cholesterol. So it's all about balance. And then not only what you take in physically, but how you burn the calories, the energy. And if you're doing physical exercise by doing seva, your physical exercise is having a double benefit. You're doing seva as well as you're getting your exercise, or and it's intake of not just food, but intake of food for the mind. Like what we're receiving today is actually food for the mind. So all these things contribute. Thank you, sister.
Sairam, thank you. Does anyone have something to add, please?
Yes, curry means sattvic food, healthy food or diet. Healthy diet includes sattvic food with less sugar, salt, of course, fat is already mentioned. So everything in moderation. Yeah. Thank you, Sam.
Okay, Sairam. So I think we have had a few members discuss this, I think in detail, that the mind is the cause of actually hurry and worry. Both of them are because of our mind anyway, which affects the physical health, as Swami says. They all originate from even the curry, the need, the tastiness, or the indriyas, or the senses crave for that, and the mind is the one which asks. So ultimately, what Swami points out is the problems in the mind is the cause of the physical health here. So we will proceed to the next paragraph, please. Sairam, Sister Kalyani, you can.
Heart diseases are found to be more rampant among non-vegetarians, while vegetarians are not prone to heart ailments to the same extent. This is because of higher percentage of fats in non-vegetarian food, which increases the cholesterol in the blood. Worry causes high blood pressure and hurry causes diabetes. Both of them are like twins, one acting on the heart inside and the other externally on the blood.
Sairam, again, I will open it up. If I think it's a continuation of the previous paragraph. If anyone would like to say, add something. Swami sort of has identified some sort of direct correlation between worry, hurry, and hurry as to what they do to our body and what parts they affect. So it's for us to consider. Anyone would like to comment or share your thoughts, please? I think if it's not okay, Saira.
Saira, my understanding is hurry, worry, and curry. More than curry is more hurry and worry is more dangerous for our living. I mean, I know few people, those who have shared that how healthy they are. They're eating very healthy food, and yet they had a heart attack. And they have identified, of course, after reading Swami's discourses and scriptures, that worry is an internal killer. So even though you take care of yourself so well, but worry is harmful for man existence.
Thank you very much, sister. Anyone else would like to say something?
Sairam, I have a question here. How
Yes.
hurry causes diabetes? I don't understand that.
How worry causes hurry causes diabetes?
Yeah.
I will look to the doctors who are on this call, whether they can provide some explanation, please.
I was thinking about the same thing about what kind of explanation that could be. I guess I was wondering, when you are in a hurry, you're always like rushing to do this or that. You don't have time to cook wholesome, nutritious meals, so you may buy food or out. And if you don't take the time to exercise or do that, things like that, both of those things maybe could relate to the diabetes.
And stress too.
Yes, stress as
Sairam.
well.
Sairam.
Sairam.
Oh, can you hear me? Sorry. Okay.
Yes, we can hear.
Yeah, so I would like to give an example. Like, as a diabetic myself, I learned that when I was carrying my children, the doctors, it's just to give you an example of how our mind is related to, our state of mind is related to our health. So doctors would say, oh, don't drink any coffee when you're, carrying your children and when you're pregnant. And some days I was like, oh my God, I can't live without coffee, so I'll have half a cup of coffee in the afternoon. But I can see the effect it has on my unborn child. The child is, I feel like, oh my God, the child is going to come out right now. That's how active the fetus gets. Then I was able to correlate, why the doctor said, you should not have coffee, because coffee increases your blood flow, which again agitates your fetus, and it's not a very healthy environment for the fetus. And the same, so I could actually relate to, this is what we do to our body by not listening to what the doctors are saying, right? And also, when I was feeding my children right after birth, I noticed that if I'm not happy, or if my thoughts are preoccupied, if I'm worried, the child won't be able to feed on me. And I'm like, why is the child crying and I'm still giving my milk, and what is going on? It later dawned on me, because my mind is not there. My mind is agitated. It's not calm. It's not in the giving environment. And then similarly, now I'm diabetic. Like, I see. So what happens? How do you actually get the sugar? To give you an example, I think I've talked about it before too. Because when you're under stress, when you're worried, when you're in anger, jealousy, hatred, all those emotions that's not conducive to your health, your body, you are exposing your body to fire. So it's always, you can even just quiet down and then feel like, when you're angry, you can feel your heart pumping so hard. You can feel like, some people feel like going to the washroom, because your body is trying to calm your internal organs down. So if you continue to expose yourself to stress, if you're continuing to not be able to manage your thoughts, etc., or live a happy life, your body's organs are always being exposed to this fire-like situation, elevated heartbeat, elevated blood pressure, elevated, you name it. So just one simple incident. So the proper breathing is not going through. So proper oxygen is not going through the body. So your immune system is a very fragile. It fails. It fails to respond to any illness. So automatically, the blood flow is not pure because you are not breathing properly. You're not getting proper oxygen. So everything is messed up. You're prone to get illness. So even like as a side effect, what happens is some people eat a lot more when they are stressed. Some people smoke when they are stressed, adding more to the body, which causes again elevated sugar levels, so fat content directly from eating. So how even just not being able to have a state of mind impacts our whole body. So now I'm diabetic. I go on, I monitor my sugar levels, in the mornings now and then, and I can pinpoint exactly my reactions or the responses I gave to my body the day before, how it shows on my sugar level, right? So if I eat the right kind of food, but I was very stressed the day before, the sugar level is up. So our body is an indication, or it's a true reflection of what is going on in our environment. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you, Sister Saira. Anyone else would like to add something, please?
Sairam, it's Vasudha again. Sister put it very succinctly. She really articulated it well. Like I was saying earlier, this is just a mnemonic, Hari Vari Kari. It's just an easy way to remember this. I think Swami used to use, short phrases and proverbs to make it easy for devotees to remember. She gave in a very common everyday example of coffee, and that's absolutely the case. It's actually an ingredient in coffee called caffeine, but caffeine is also present in tea and in pop, in Coke, and a lot of other everyday commonly consumed food items too. So some items that you take in can almost instantly, within a few minutes or within an hour, produce a difference. That's because they stimulate your sympathetic nervous system. And there are some which over a period of time can cause changes. But the worry and hurry are both interrelated, and high blood pressure, diabetes, all of these affect your vascular system. So this whole environment inside you is interrelated. And also, I had the same experience as the sister who was speaking earlier about lactation. When you're lactating your baby, the babies can sense the stress inside you, and the stress affects your pituitary hormone and your production of and the quality of the milk breastfeeding mother produces. So overall stress affects every little cell in your body and in every way. So thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, Sister. Anyone else would like to comment? So I think Brother Sivadas asked a question, I think it was a specific question related to how hurry causes diabetes. And I think there we learned a few things. But I thought I will also take a crack. First of all, I would like to say we should all understand that most of what we use to understand this world is based on whatever we have learned. And if I look at the participant from the medical fraternity, They have learned whatever they have learned in the medical school and any post-learning which they have done through going through researches and so on. The reality is the body is an ocean which has not been charted. We really don't know almost most things which go on in the body, why they go on, how they go on. Whatever they have learned, whatever they have discovered, I think people know, and that's what the scientists share. But in this case, I would say Swami has said it. So just the way we believe something which we have read in a textbook or learned from a lecture, I would. We also should have the open-mindedness to take it as it is and try it out in our own life to see if we reduce being hurried, whether we will be free from diabetes for a long time. I think that's an experiment which all of us can do. But I will just try, our rational mind, wants some explanation. So I thought I would try, I'll take a crack at it. Diabetes is generally seen as an increase in the blood sugar level in the body. Doctors would say in the insulin production, or, it's the endocrinal gland, endocrinal secretion of insulin is not keeping up with the sugar levels, and it's not maintaining the sugar level, and that's why it's going up, is what the medical fraternity would say. And the only solution they have is to either prescribe a medication which will help in the control of sugar or metabolization of the sugar, or they would just go straight to insulin, give a patient an insulin. Because that's all they understand, because they really are dealing with the symptom and trying to control the symptom of the sugar level going up. Even the secretion of insulin itself could be considered a symptom, because there's an underlying cause which Swami says is hurry. The hurry is not physical hurry alone; it's also the mental hurry. It's like, if you take a car and if you race the car every day, there is an imbalance created in the body. It's heated up too much, because I think in Ayurveda they consider diabetes or the insulin secretion as a kapha disease. Kapha is basically something which is cooling, which is oily, and so on. And by heating up the body through hurrying, either through mental hurrying or physical hurrying, we increase the internal temperature of the body, and that interferes with the functioning of the glands which secrete insulin, which require a slightly calmer internal heat. Internal heat is not the body temperature, but it's just a certain heat element in the body, which may not be reflected even in the body temperature, but that internally affects is what Ayurvedic physicians believe. So it is a kapha disease, and it's caused by aggravation of other tumors in the body. So that's my understanding, but we don't have to rely on this explanation. But it is just the fact that Swami has said it, so we take it as a hypothesis if we don't believe it today. But we can experiment it in our own lives and see whether we are able to contain the sugar levels through just making sure that mentally we don't get agitated, hurried, or physically we don't get agitated and hurried. That's all I can say. If anyone else would like to share something, please do.
Hi, Ram. I wanted to add some more again. Just so that, like Brother Aruno said, we all learn from each other, right? So I know personally, I feel like I was, diagnosed with diabetes very early in my 40s. It's probably because of the crisis that I went through in my life. When I was going through that crisis, if I had known that this is what I'm doing to my body, I would have probably dealt with the situation differently. Now I know, and that's why my reason is to share that with you too, because life happens to all of us, and it's never going to be in one straight line. It's always going to be like an up and down curve. But we can actually manage that curve if we, decide on how we are going to respond to that up and down. because the way that we decide to deal with those ups and downs is going to determine our mental and the physical health going forward. I was in a denial when I was diagnosed with diabetes, and I told the doctor, "You're not looking at my results. It must be a mistake." And so I was, trying to figure out and manage it without medicine too. And I heard about vibrionics. I don't know how many of you know. It's a technique where it's an ancient tradition. It's just like acupuncture, where the needle is used. Here, actually, it's a sugar pill that is given after it goes through a vibration of that particular organ. Say, for example, if you have any issues with your lungs, and the lungs are at a certain frequency in your body, so what they do is they, put the pills, tablets through a machine that'll bring it to that particular vibration, and you take it. So Swami has authorized these practitioners to go and, hand it out to other people so people can be healed. So I went and met with the practitioner, and he told me something that really stayed with me. And he said, "Talk to me. What happened? You're so young. How come you're diabetic, right?" And then he goes, "Yeah, this is what exactly I told earlier." He said, "Life is always going to be up and down, but you need to make sure you don't let it get to your head." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He said, it's what you internalize and how you respond to the stress. Because you can choose to be happy, you can choose to be content, and you can choose to accept the situation. That way, you not only mentally prepare yourself to respond positively, but then you can also start to think clearly on, okay, what can I do? Because getting worried, getting angry, freaking out doesn't do anything for anyone around you or your body, right? So that's the key. So it's like living in the moment every day. Like Swami always says, be happy, be happy. But I never really understood why he says, be happy, because this is the reason. If you're not happy, if you're not enjoying every moment, you are actually hurting yourself, because, you will become sick. That is the key in this paragraph, I think. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, sister. Thank you very much. I will just read out, Brother Surya Kumar has typed a few comments. He could have spoken it, but I will read it out for everyone's benefit. He says, body is a temple of God. Healthy mind is the cause of healthy body. Hurry and worry are related to our mind. Swami says, why worry when I am here? As we looked last week. When we are spiritual, having God in our thoughts, words, and deeds constantly, and contemplating on God, singing the glory of God, we are free from worry. Love of God, having faith in God, surrender, and self-confidence will help us to lead a worry-free life. That was his comment. So he's saying the solution is leaving everything to God, surrendering and thinking of God and being happy. And thank you very much for everyone for sharing some wonderful thoughts, please. And these are practical things which we can do in our own daily life. Even small things sometimes agitate us. Thank you very much. Does anyone else have something, or we will go to the next slide? If not, Saira, Sister Kalyani, please go ahead.
Everyone should know how to control these causes. Some people do not do any physical exercises and lead a sedentary life. My advice to office goers and students is that it is good for them to commute by bicycle at least 5 or 6 kilometers a day. This cycling exercise is very useful not only for maintaining health, but also for reducing the expenditure incurred on automobiles. Another advantage is the avoidance of accidents.
Thank you very much, sister. I will again open it up for everyone to comment, please, if anyone has something to say.
Sorry, Ram. I can surely say cycling is a very good exercise. Bhagwan knew so many years ago. I just started bicycling. I don't know. A week ago, it came to my mind I should really cycle. And believe me, I was in pain for 3 days because my other muscles of my body was utilized. And I said, and I might have gone just maybe 2 kilometers. And I said, I think this is something I need to seriously consider, as you know, we all are aging and it's a good exercise rather than going to gym, pay there, don't keep up with going to gym fee, don't keep up with that and paying a lot of money to gym. But cycling is a good way to take care of yourself. Just to share my thoughts.
Thank you, sister. I think Swami is just confirming that what you have started is good. Anyone else who would like to join, comment, please? Swami is addressing our habits. We sometimes neglect being active. Just for I think just as a piece of information, Swami is a very active person. Swami won't be able to bicycle. So what he does every day, what he has done in his life, morning and evening. Really, the first thing which Swami does in the morning is to briskly walk up and down for about half an hour inside the room. And he does the same thing in the night also, just for exercise, to keep himself fit. The body needs exercise. And because Swami cannot walk outside, there will be too many people running after him. So he was forced to do whatever exercise he had to do in his own room, in his 10, 12 feet room. He would walk up and down from one end to the other end. So he also practiced it, and he would tell students to be active. That was some compulsory physical exercise was mandated for everyone. And so I think those are some of the points which Swami is telling, that we should be active, we should not be sedentary. I think it's proved. I think there may be others who can correct. They say sitting for more than half an hour is worse than smoking a cigarette or something of that sort. Apparently, it does more harm to the body to sit in one place for more than half an hour without any exercise or moving around. I will let anyone else comment or say something, please.
Can I just add quickly what Bhagavan has already prescribed to us? Now, Government of Canada, I work with nonprofits, so I know there are so many projects at national level and at provincial level and municipal level are working where government is pushing people to use bicycle as their mode of transportation. There are lots of projects are happening where they are telling, especially for newcomers, is primarily focused for newcomers, that use bicycle as instead of your second car, because it will be economical, less expensive, and it will be healthy for your family. So I'm just sharing with you where I was actually involved in bicycle project. Bicycle Host, they said, in Toronto is very active in that. So just sharing, it has become at all levels of government that they're pushing bicycles to as a mean of transportation for health, for environment, and for economic reasons.
Thank you very much, sister.
Hi, Ram.
We have inspired. Yes, please, Brother Suri Kumar.
Walking and bicycling will also help us to enjoy the nature again, living with or enjoying the nature as much as we can. For example, getting fresh air, looking at the trees and flowers and plants, sceneries, enjoy the natural beauty of the atmosphere and all. So especially to get good breathing fresh air. And so there are other health benefits bicycling and walking it gives us.
Thank you very much, brother.
Thank you.
Hi, Ram. Sai Ram. Back home, when we go to school and go to work, even with the saris, we do bicycling. In our that time, we don't have. When with the problem times, we don't have the gas and everything, gasoline and everything. We have to go by bicycle. And also morning, our daily duty, we don't have electricity. We have to get the water from the well and taking a bath. That is also one of the exercise we do. And for the farm and everything, we do small thing for our own gardening. That is also we are doing lots of things. Back home, no, nobody gets kind of sickness, kind of diabetics and cholesterol and problem like that. When we come to here, we spoiled everything, like even grinding things, used to do, and grinding flour and everything we do back home we did our by self. In washing clothes also, everything help us to do daily routine with exercise, help us to live a better life. When we come here, we forgot about everything. We expect everything from, all machines are doing for us. Now we have to go to the gym and do the machine exercise for like that. This is like a punishment for us. We don't do our duty the proper way, then we have to go like that. But I think the nature walk and walking and doing pranayama in the morning and some yoga exercises, like we have to do by routine. Like one day you do, the next day you don't do, it's not worth it. And also for the diabetic, the Swami says hurry. When you eat, with some people thinking something else, we had to do the pranayama before we thank for the food. In a hurry, we don't think anything, and we are eating for the digesting system. We have to keep the food in the mouth for a while. Then only is the proper digestion will come. Then we learn our biology class, we have to do that, but we never do in a hurry. And also we are thinking something else and eating with a work or something else. That is hurry causes the trouble. And that is also Swami, I think, telling us we have to, do with when we eat the food, we are thinking something else with a hurry. It's not going to digest properly for the food like that. That is something we are putting in a garbage bin, something in the mouth. They're doing, we are not eating like a food, I think. And also we have to eat with we have to, when we eat the food, when back home, when we cook, we take small amount of rice and put it in a jar and collecting and giving to other people. No, here is like a greedy. We are eating everything. We have to eat a luxury food, luxury thing, restaurant food, and everything like that. We are in also some people feeding the children to eat like that. That's why it's a cholesterol and everything causing us. Even small children getting diabetes here. I think we forget everything. That's what is causing trouble. Sairam.
Sairam, sister, thank you very much. Does anyone have anything to add, please? Okay, I think we will move on to the next paragraph then. Sairam, Sister Kalyani.
Moreover, it serves to reduce atmospheric pollution caused by the release of harmful fumes from automobiles. The carbon dioxide smoke from motor vehicles and factories is already polluting the air in cities and is affecting the ozone layer above the earth. The primary task is to purify the environment, which is affected by pollution of air, water, and food. All the 5 elements are affected by pollution. People should, therefore, try to reduce the use of automobiles and control the emission of harmful industrial effluents.
Thank you, sister.
This is the Sarah. My name is Bhagavan. This is the main thing. We have to understand this. The many ways. The scientists warn that the ozone is damaged by the industrials and regular vehicles running. So I'm thinking sometimes, wonder, that nature always balance back. See this. I know that don't think it's a negative, but this disease going all over the world at the same time. We never in my life, I never seen this is going all over the world. So now you see that the ozone is recovering. Maybe the corona would be over after this thing happened. That's what I see these things, because many times they warn, but nobody listened to. This is everybody was forced to listen to. Whether we like it or not, now we in the indoors. We used to, my vehicle, even I could see that amount of time that it was running before, and now myself, I just, it's not that I wanted to drive, but like sometimes you have no choice to save your time and everything. Thank you. That's my.
Thank you very much, brother. Very nice thought. Yes, I think nature has forced us all to purify the elements. Sairam, thank you.
Right.
Sairam?
Hi Ram, it's Bhavani. I would like to share something. I know in the book Sri Sathya Sai Anandadai, it was written by a very old devotee of Swami, where I remember reading something saying that misuse of the elements is a big crime. And then Swami says, I remember, if you waste or use excessive water, you will have difficulty in breathing. And then he said, overconsumption of energy, you will sustain burns, and by the abuse of air, you will get mental diseases. So just wanted to share that.
Sairam, sister, can you repeat it, please? Please repeat. I think there's some disturbance.
I'm looking at the book Sri Sathya Sai Anandadai. It's on page 276, where Swami is saying misuse of Panjabhutas is the biggest crime. Hence, use them carefully. With excessive use of water, you will have difficulty in breathing. With overconsumption of energy, you will sustain burns. By the abuse of air, you will get mental disease.
Thank you very much, brother. Sister,
But I think Swami forgot to tell us what will happen if we abuse Mother Earth.
I think all of this is Mother Earth. It's different aspects of the Mother Earth, I guess.
I think the paragraph Sister Kalyani she read, I'm reflecting upon myself is what can I do to help the environment? Can we walk like within the 2 or 3 kilometers radius, whatever work we have to do, simple grocery or anything, can I go and walk? I do walk just to get small, but to get some small stuff, but can I increase that walk from 2 kilometers to 3 kilometers? So I guess it's a reflection for all of us, those who are doing it or those who, like me, we don't do. We just pick up our car for even going through, picking up bread or milk. Can we walk and just get it? It's good for our health and it's good for environment.
Thank you, sister. Yes, I too am going to start seriously thinking about getting a bicycle and trying. I don't know. We'll see. I think now it's very difficult to buy a bicycle, I guess. Get order it online. I think, yeah, these are things for us to think and contemplate and reflect and do something about it. There's one thing is to read and one thing is to put it into practice. Otherwise, reading and learning this is of not use to us. Thank you. Maybe we will go on to the next. I think it is pretty straightforward instructions for all of us. I think there is nothing for us. I think we will all clearly understand. So we'll go on to the next one, please. Sairam, sister.
In the ancient times, sages and scientists commended the Ayurvedic system of treatment as it was considered a natural system for curing disease. Trees play a vital role in helping mankind to receive oxygen from the atmosphere, while they absorb the carbon dioxide exhaled by human beings. Hence, the ancients favored the growing of trees to control atmospheric pollution.
Sairam, sister Kalyani, did you finish reading? Please
Sorry
go
about
ahead.
that. Sorry about that. But nowadays, trees are cut down indiscriminately and pollution is on the increase. The relationship between man and trees is indicated by the term vanaspati, herbs, employed in Ayurveda.
Thank you very much, sister. Again, I will open it up for participants to share your comments or thoughts, please. Just a small announcement for those. Sairam, please go ahead. Sairam, sister.
So when we think of trees, we only think of parks or designated areas like, curbside on the road or golf areas and things like that. In India itself, in a small place in Bengal called Bolpur, close to that, there is a university called Vishwa Bharati in Shantiniketan that was founded by Sri Ravindranath Tagore. And the beauty of this university, it is still very popular in Bengal, and they have a lot of enrollment internationally. One of the key features was that Rabindranath Tagore believed in integration of man and nature, and the entire campus is green, and there's still studies that go on under the banyan tree or things like that where possible. Of course, right now there's a lot of computerized and bookish kind of knowledge coming up. This was established way back when the British were in India. I'm in the province of Saskatchewan, and the public school here actually has a program for grade 7 and grade 8 public students, Eco Quest, where they do their entire curriculum of the year in the middle of nature. And Saskatchewan, for those of you who have not been here, is quite cold. It can get like -30, -40 easily in the winter. And forget bicycling or walking, even in the car, it's cold, and we have like block heaters where we park our cars outside. But these kids at the public school give me a lot of inspiration, because they actually, even through winter, going through this program organized by the public school division, where they're actually learning their science, social studies, history, everything through nature. So I just wanted to share that in practical terms.
Thank you very much, sister. Thank you. Anyone would like to share something, please?
Sairam.
Sairam.
Over the past few decades, millions of trees had been cut to create the factories, cities, and highways, and so on. So to come out of that problem, Sathya Sai organization had tree plantation every year, successfully done by the region. That is, thank you for those who organize that every year without fail. They do that. I wish they do that this year too. To come out of that, we can also plant trees at our homes if you have land behind your house. Cities do for each and every brand new home. They plant trees. Another thing, to get oxygen inside the house, we can have indoor plants. There are few plants that gives good oxygen during the 24 hours. I do have few plants in the house. So these are a few ideas I thought I should share. Saira.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? I think this is pretty straightforward, except I think one place Swami is talking about Ayurveda and Vanaspati. Because Ayurveda treated as every tree or every plant has some medicinal properties. So they gave a lot of importance to growing of herbs and plants, which will naturally also treat the environment around us. So I think even we can consciously plant trees and herbs in our homes, even in small quantities. That will also help us with our own health. So if there's no comment, Yes, please.
In our center, years ago, one day we had a ladies-based session where we did a plant exchange of household plants. We encourage everyone, some people have a big plant and they want to repot or make cuttings, and so we encourage people to bring that and said, bring a plant, take a plant. Some people didn't know or were not interested, so we said, just here's a small dollar store pot or even a pot from the Salvation Army, just water it, that's all. And we got very good feedback. So maybe it's a small savor we can do in the center next time, especially in the spring. People are getting into gardening and plants, so just a plant exchange maybe. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sister. I think there are many medicinal plants which traditionally used for various ailments. Even those can be planted by us, and we can get to know what can be used to generally improve our overall health and immunity. And that also is something which for us to take away from what Swami is saying here. We'll go on to the next paragraph, I guess. Sairam, Sister Kalyani.
Man is leading an artificial life today. One should understand that he is not merely the body, but a combination of body, mind, and spirit. In the Gayatri Mantra, Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha is the first line. In this, Bhu refers to matter, that is the body. Bhuva refers to the prana shakti, life principle, which animates the body. And Suvaha refers to prajna shakti, awareness or consciousness, which acts through radiation. Hence, man is made up of prajna, awareness, prana, the vital force, and the body, the material substance.
Thank you, Sister. Dharma, you'll open it up to the group to comment, please. Anyone can comment. All of us consider Gayatri, the most powerful mantra, and regularly repeat it. So Swami is referring to that. Because sometimes we chant these mantras without paying attention to what they have to teach, and Swami is taking this opportunity to sort of explain some aspects of the Gayatri. So I think I will open it up for anyone to comment or share your thoughts, please. No one is saying. See, Swami has always talked about materialization, vibration, and radiation as three aspects of body, mind, and the consciousness. I think so mind, the functioning of the mind is considered to be vibration. So I was reminded of a sister speaking earlier, talking about vibronics. So the vibronics is using the vibrations to help with our health. So that is mind itself. The mind is the vibration which creates the vibration through which the body functions. It sends the signals for the body parts to move, and that is how the body functions. So getting a better control or having a better control over the mind, the functioning of the mind, not letting it getting agitated and so on, that vibration which the mind generates will have a very positive impact on the body. And I think Swami is saying the consciousness, which is awareness, which sends the radiation, is the one which controls the mind. So by turning our mind towards God, by Swami, I think we will be able to channel the positive energy which comes from Swami to all our entire body, our mind, and through that we will be able to maintain health. And I think while praying, using the mantra, Gayatri mantra, we can always say, so it's the Gayatam Trayati Gayatri, Swami says. Basically, whoever sings the Gayatri is protected by the mantra. So by knowing very well, each element of our existence is there, meditating on that, I think we will stand to benefit in overall health, not only physical, mental, and also spiritual. I think that's what Swami is sort of summarizing here. This is the last paragraph from the selection for which we have been discussing for the past few weeks. And Swami says this is the crown jewel, I guess. I will open it up for anyone to share your thoughts or comments, please. Sai. So if no one is commenting, maybe I will just summarize and we can close. See, in every selection which we have made in the past 3 selections, Swami has always spoken about connecting to God, devotional practice. That is the solution from his childhood days. Swami has talked about bhajan, how it eradicated disease. So even in this, those Swami has talked about various physical and mental aspects. Ultimately, the solution Swami comes to is that by us connecting to that higher force, which actually keeps us alive and functioning, living the mantra of Gayatri itself, one thing is to just chant the Gayatri. One thing is to live that in our daily life with complete awareness that there's a divine which is pulsing through our mind and the body and making us all function in a healthy manner. By keeping that flow uninterrupted, without any barrier, any hurdle, we will be able to, the health in its entirety will flow from God into our mind and through our body. It is not only helpful for us to keep ourselves healthy, it will also do much more good to things around us. That is what Swami is driving at in every discourse of his, and that's the purpose for which he took an incarnation, to remind us who have forgotten that we should always connect to the source, which is divinity. And through that, our mind will be calm and we will be in the most optimal health. Whatever the situation around us, surrounding, any elements which may come in the form of viruses, bacteria, and so on, those can be overcome because there's an inherent divinity in us. And if we let it flow uninterruptedly, without a small gap, we should always be bubbling with health. And even if something were to affect us in some way, it will not make us give us a feeling of suffering, because we will be able to take it even gladly in our stride, because there is something which we cannot avoid. And that's what Swami is driving to, and that's a great message for us to take away on the Aradhana weekend. And Swami has given very practical examples, instructions for us to take. Maybe 1 or 2 we can take and practice in our daily life, and I'm sure our lives will be much better for our own good and for the good of everyone around us. With those thoughts, we will close the study cycle today. It was wonderful to have you all and share all the positive energy, even the silent ones. Just your presence and sending some positive thoughts, I'm sure is making it all nice. It was a wonderful session. Thank you very much for everyone who contributed. We will close this with Samasta Loka, Sukhino Bhavantu, and Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Saira. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti.